everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today we have a great guest that I'm really excited for you to meet. This is Ashley Gray. Ashley is a social worker in private practice, and she also works for Waterford Schools. And Ashley is also a board member on the board of directors at Lakes Area Community Coalition. Thanks for being with us today, Ashley.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity, and thank you, Joan, for inviting me to share some wisdom and some knowledge during this very difficult time. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, we really appreciate your work with the community, your work with LACC in particular. So Ashley, tell me a little bit more about yourself and about your work with families.
Definitely. So I started off, I have my undergrad at Wayne State and my master's at UD Mercy. And then I went straight into juvenile justice. And I really wanted to understand what's going on with our young people, usually from the age of 7 to 17 in Detroit. Why are they committing so many crimes? What's going on with them and their families? So I worked there for about 11 years, and I worked in our residential facility, in our community-based programs, really just trying to keep families together and work on the recidivism, why students are using substance abuse, why students are not actively engaged in school, and why are they turning to criminal activity. So I stayed there, and then I really wanted to understand why kids are mentally checking out of school and then physically checking out of school. Because a lot of students commit most of their crimes actually during the school day. And then I went into education because I really wanted to get that answer. I really wanted to understand why kids are not connecting with school, and families are not connecting with schools too. So I went into a charter school, and I enjoyed that. And now I'm currently at Waterford Public School over the behavior department. So I do a lot of work with that, with families. My focus and my specialty is with young people and their families, and connecting and building that strong relationship together. And then I started along my journey when I was at Star Commonwealth to open a private practice, because I understand with large companies, the money is programs are really driven by money. So I really wanted to say, okay, well, let me start my own so I can really tackle the issues of family, tackle the issues of what's going on in the homes, especially minority families. I really wanted to be able to provide quality service to minority families, especially because sometimes therapy is not something they necessarily want to do or they believe in. So I created with my co-partner, my co-founder, Dr. Dawn Stewart, we created E3 Michigan, which stands for Engage, which is our training department, Empower, which is our therapy department, and then Educate, which is our tutoring. So it's really a full family approach, a full systems approach to work with the schools, work with the students, and then work with their tutoring.
That's great. It sounds like you meet a lot of needs of families in the community in a lot of different ways.
Definitely.
In your work with the families in our community and families that you see in the schools and in private practice, especially thinking about families with older kids, older teens in the home, what are some unique challenges that families with older kids, maybe even young adults, are seeing today during the COVID-19 crisis?
Yeah, I think this COVID-19 is very uncharted territories that we've never seen before in the world. I think older kids really didn't understand what that meant, what this pandemic was really about, until things started really shutting down. And kids coming home from college abruptly, our kids who are in school, just literally, their worlds lifted right up under them. They had to just come home and not really knowing why people are getting sick, not really understanding that. And then with the whole social distancing, kids can't see their loved ones, their girlfriends, boyfriends, their friends, because friends really mean so much to a lot of kids once they're older. That is really their support system. So when you can't really see those kids anymore, or your peers or your friends anymore, it's really devastating. So families have really gone through a lot to try to keep that bond together. But I've definitely seen some older students struggle because they don't know how to communicate that. They don't know how to communicate their feelings. And so when boredom strikes, boredom sometimes breeds bad behavior. So we're seeing a spike with substance abuse. We're seeing a spike with alcoholism because they're bored. Older kids are not playing video games and, sitting there. They really want to get out and mingle and kind of connect. So it's been a struggle. It's been especially that communication, because kids who usually live in college kind of beat to their own drum. Now you're coming home and now you're around your parents, and you have rules and regulations that you're not used to. So it's definitely been a struggle.
How about families with younger children, maybe middle school or elementary age children? What unique challenges are we seeing in that age group right now?
I think that is really big with the school, because again, kids were ripped right out of school. They didn't see their friends. They didn't say bye. I think everyone needs to have a closure. So when they don't have that sense of closure, it's really hard for parents now to step into the role of trying to be an educator, step into the role also of trying to be a parent, and step into the role of sometimes being their entertainment. So parents really have a lot of different roles that they have to play now, and kids are really struggling with, what is my new normal? Because unfortunately here in Michigan, it's not warm. It hasn't been warm up until recently. So everybody's in the house together. It's not like we can get out as much or as comfortably to get out and kind of move about in the community and, do some outside activities. So kids, I think they're struggling to find what's normal. And we're seeing a lot of kids who have some behavior issues or have some concerns at home. They use school as really an outlet for them. So we had some kids recently who comes to school to try to get away from what's going on at home, that domestic violence, that anger at home, that always yelling or kind of some inappropriate activity at home. And now they're really seeing that every day. So that has really, really struggled with kids. How do I process that? How do I protect my family? And how do parents communicate better? Yeah. And as kids, we always want to be that saver. We always want to kind of be the middle person to try to save parents and kind of get in the middle and kind of deflect things. So now kids are having a greater responsibility at home.
That brings me to my next question. Partners and spouses are also just married couples or cohabitating couples are just really having a challenge in their relationships. Yeah. What kind of things are you seeing in terms of a spouse or partner relationship right now?
It's definitely difficult. I mean, yes, we have 24 hours in a day, but we usually are at work for 8 of those hours. And then we come home and have to worry about and kind of protect and parent our kids. So now we're all in the house together. We see some things that I didn't know about you before, your little small innuendos that you're doing, and just your behaviors are different. So I think communication is really, really big. Giving each other space. Every little thing doesn't mean something. Every little probably inappropriate comment does not mean that you're doing something wrong. So I think we need to take things with a grain of salt, come up with a structured family time. I'm really big on creating some type of activity, still eat together, still play a video game or, do puzzles together. Create that once a day activity that we're going to do. So we're all still connected. So yeah, it's been very difficult. Through E3 Michigan, I have a lot of more and more clients who are spouses and are in partnerships because they're saying, one, it's been great. I have this opportunity now. I can actually call a therapist and actually COVID-19 saved my marriage because now we really can work on some things. And then I have the other end of the spectrum where they're like, there's some things about you I just cannot deal with. I think that we've grown apart. And so we really work on processing that. What does that really mean? How do you feel about that? So everybody's on the same page and can do things in decent and in order too.
Yeah. So if families are struggling right now with older children or younger children or in their partner spouse relationship, what would you recommend as some things they can do on their own, or how would you recommend they reach out for support in different ways to strengthen their family?
Right. Definitely. I think I'm really big on journaling and not necessarily the writing journal. I'm big on because everybody has a cell phone and you can go into the memo section of your cell phone and do a voice recording. I'm really big on, because I think it reflects. Words have power. So there's some things that you want to say, but you're like, you're not ready to say them, or they may come off really harsh. So say them on your voice recording and do that consistently every day, but don't go back to that first initial voice recording until 5 days later. So you're not judging yourself and kind of thinking about that. Get it out. Say what you need to say. Talk about the day, kind of vent. Let it out. I'm really big on that. I'm really big on exercising. I think everybody needs to just get moving, move your body, because we can sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day or, different TV shows and kind of get consumed with this COVID-19 and all the things that's really worrying us. So I'm really big on, one, the note-taking, two, the getting up and exercising, doing something different, and then learn a new skill. I really believe in during this pandemic, we should be very different when we come out of this. We've had almost a month now. So what what new talents do you have? What new skill set are you trying to learn? What new foreign language can you come up with? Something to just increase your knowledge base. Something, if we have a lot of parents, taking a class, just learning something different. There's YouTube videos on any and everything you ever wanted to learn about. I think that's really important. We're always here to help. I'm not really big as it relates to E3 Michigan worrying about payment right now. I believe this is a time of crisis. So if people are willing and interested to call us, we're definitely available. All of our social media sites are E3 Michigan. Our website is e3michigan.com. We will be here to answer the phone. We are really, really here to try to support everybody through this journey because it's very difficult, and students too. And young people, we ask you to just talk to somebody if things, because your mind goes crazy sometimes sitting alone and boredom is strong. Yeah.
Ashley, one last question for you. Lakes Area Community Coalition focuses our work, especially on underage substance use prevention. Any thoughts about ways for parents to address substance use with their kids right now? And any thoughts on kids, what kids can do to remain drug-free at this time?
Definitely. I think knowledge is really powerful. I think one thing that I really, really believe that we do really well at Lakes Area, we're not trying to stop people from doing different substances, but we're trying to educate you on the effects of substances because we don't live with anybody's home. We can't physically make people stop because it's really an underlying issue that's really something's going on underneath of why people use to kind of self-medicate. But I think families really and just students need to educate themselves on what is smoking marijuana doing to their body. What is smoking those e-cigarettes really doing to our body? So you can understand that it's messing up your teeth. There's some direct impact of these drugs that we're using out of just habit. So I think just being knowledgeable and having families have that conversation, because I think a lot of times families, adults will go off and smoke or drink, but then they're saying, well, you can't do that because you're not of legal age. But that's hard for kids to really understand and process. So I think we just need to have more conversations with each other and say, this is why, alcohol is waiting for until you're 21. This is why you have to be this age to smoke cigarettes. Just being very knowledgeable. And I think parents just need to be very mindful of what they're doing in front of their kids too. Yeah. Step outside, go in the basement, do things after time that their kids are not watching. Yeah. Because, that whole monkey see, monkey do thing is very powerful.
Yeah. Ashley, I want to thank you for taking time with us today. We appreciate all you do in the community, in the schools, for our neighbors and friends, and your work with the coalition. I also want to remind everyone to check out lakesareacc.org, our website. We have a whole prevention resources page for COVID-19, a lot of mental health resources there, substance use resources, mindfulness, link to E3 Michigan is there as well. So please check out our Lakes Area website at lakesareacc.org. And Ashley, thanks again for all you do to help us build a healthy, vibrant, drug-free community.
Very true. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.